Gotcha. Well, the first idea that came across my mind was actually, are you guys crazy? This is going to be impossible.
It's changeable.
Where you want to be.
I mean, we were trying to reference the starting point for the series is essentially trying to find an animation style that really allowed the feeling of the MCU to come through the animation. So it feeling big and cinematic and compelling, while still, providing the audience with characters that felt like things they hadn't seen before. Maybe the notion of looking at animation styles that could feel a little bit slightly more realistic. We went back to look at there's an American illustrator named J.C. Leyendecker who worked in the 1940s and really worked to sort of create characters that felt heightened and despite being stylized, they felt larger than life and monumental. And since a lot of Marvel characters have the same sort of heightened quality to them, we found a lot of like really compelling things that artist was doing. And we were trying to bring a lot of that into the work that we were trying to do. I think as a starting point, it's kind of the idea of the MCU mixed with Leyendecker, essentially. More or less, I think we were looking for something that felt unique and different and felt really is, cinematic in the same way that the films did. But as well with the characters, we're trying to find a look that makes them feel powerful and heightened and as grounded and as real as possible. I think we were trying to stay away from feeling like we're stylizing too much towards something being cartoony. We want the characters to be taken seriously, as seriously, honestly, as the live action characters. So I think we were looking for style reference that would allow that to happen, and then essentially basing a lot of the designs on things that are in the MCU. It's really an embarrassment of riches that we have to pull from. We have the look of Doctor Strange. We have the look of Star-Lord. We have the look of T'Challa. How are we going to put those things in together in unique ways to really make them feel like iconic characters of their own?
Yeah, I mean, there's like the main challenges. Some of them are technical, and some of them are more like creative, right? So on the technical side, I would say when you're doing something like this, where you're going to see so much action, so much movement from these characters, like for instance, when you're seeing Peggy Carter, jumping from the plane and doing all that stuff, then you're doing so much with these characters that just being able to technically do that is not easy, because the poses are not easy. I guess to work from every direction and stuff like that. So you have that type of a challenge, and then so it's technically difficult. And then you have the other type where, for instance, scenes like, in the Doctor Strange episode, when he's in the car with Christine and they're talking and stuff like that. And there's they're talking, but there's a lot of unsaid. There's a lot of subtext. There's a lot of things he means to say, doesn't say, or things he knows he can't say because he knows she would not understand and stuff like that. So you have is sort of like you need to understand that situation when you're animating it, and kind of connect with the reality of how these characters are living it and expressing it. And it's not technically difficult to do, but creatively, from an acting point of view, you have to get it right. So the difficulty is of a different kind.
Oh, that's a great question. I think so much is required. I think multiple ambiences are required, multiple sounds, multiple worlds, a whole kind of diversity of genre is required. So I think my job was to kind of identify those and bring them out through music. So if you're looking at an episode that's a heist, the music needs to feel like a heist. Or if you're looking at an episode that's a tragic love story, you want to amplify that. A 40s war movie, you want to amplify that through the music. So I think my job was to really take those ambiences and magnify them.
Gotcha. Well, the first idea that came across my mind was actually, are you guys crazy? This is going to be impossible. Once we all got past that, because I know that was on everybody's mind, because it's a very large project. The first thing that crossed my mind in terms of what I wanted to do, the first thing actually that we did do was do some tests. To pick a couple locations and actually do some animation tests. That's kind of a standard thing, partly just to be able to find an animation team that's going to be able to do this. So we picked two extremely different locations. We picked the interior of the cockpit of one of the planes from the Peggy Carter episode, and then we picked the interior of the bar where T'Challa and team are planning their heist on the Collector's Museum. So, and it was just like, let's think, what are the two biggest, like completely different type of places that we would ever go to on our episodes? Because at that point, we'd only worked on 2 episodes. We didn't have all the scripts yet. We only had 2 at the moment. So, so that was kind of where we started. And then, you really just kind of start from page 1 on the script. And we did have scripts. We did have storyboards were already created when I came into the project. And it is almost as simple as that. It's a daunting task to start one of these projects. So really the only way to kind of get moving on is just look at the thing, write down the locations that you have to design, and just begin. I think the first place we actually literally started designing was that rebirth lab from the Peggy Carter episode. And it was kind of nice to drop into that one first, because that was actually a location that was already created from the Captain America movie. So what we wanted to do was do it, but come up with our own version of it. So that really was the beginning of like, how are we going to make this place different? Something special than what we have in the movie, because we already know what we've got in the movie.
I guess I have to freestyle then.